Brief update on the snow conditions from the mountains and around Chamonix this week, as in all honesty very little's changed since last week and very little's going to change until next week as well, so there's not a huge amount to say. Plus I went to Avoria yesterday for a bit of a change of scene, so I wasn't up filming in Chamonix like I would usually be on a Friday, but don't worry, I have got plenty of B-roll for you from in Chamonix earlier in the week. So the weather is still very much dominated by this stubborn high pressure. It's warm, it's sunny, it's dry. Plus, it's also dusty as well. We had a bit of Saharan dust come across over the last few days, so the skies are looking very hazy, very dusty, even at times a bit post-apocalyptic as well. It does make for some stunning sunrises and sunsets and some pretty impressive scenery, but it's no doubt going to be affecting the snow conditions as well. As that dust is darker than the reflective snow, so it absorbs sunlight quicker, so it's therefore going to be speeding up the thaw. But up high, the snow cover is still really extensive, so don't worry, winter is far from over. There's still tons of absolutely fantastic on-piste skiing to be had on the mid and upper mountain. But low down, of course, things are definitely suffering. The home run down to Saint-Gervais is well and truly gone, it's finished. It's probably finished a week or so ago. Some of the lower runs heading down towards Megeve undoubtedly are also going to be suffering as well, although they'll definitely do their best to keep those open as long as possible. The lower runs down into Les Ouches are also suffering, particularly on the Bellevue side. The piste down to Prarion is holding up much better, but either side of the piste we're losing the snow very rapidly low down in Chamonix now. The home runs down into Le Contamine are still fine, but they do get very cut up during the day, so if you're descending late in the day you can expect some pretty big slush moguls. I guess I'm going the right way. But of course, most of the skiing up in Chamonix itself is above 1800 meters, where we still have extensive snow cover. It's deep, it's wide, and it is still in really good condition. It is very spring-like, so it's going to be at its best during the middle of the day, from say around 11 through till probably 2-3 in the afternoon. First thing in the morning it's going to be very firm, but on the whole it is still good. This is a sign of just how summery it's starting to feel right now. We're starting to get the valley winds, even though it's only 7th of March. Valley winds is what you'd normally expect in all alpine valleys through spring and especially in the summer, as the sun heats up the ground, causing strong convection. Therefore the wind rushes up the valley to replace the air that's been lost in the upper valley. You get very dominant wind direction in all alpine valleys, no matter which way they're facing, no matter which direction the prevailing wind is during the summer. But as I say, we're getting that even now. So during the day, when it is hot and sunny, the wind is flowing up valley. At some point in late afternoon or early evening, it flips, starts flowing down the valley again. My friend sent me a little update from the James Bond track, the home run for the Valley Blanche, which is now broken in at least a couple of places. It's only getting worse day on day. There's now at least 10 minutes worth of walking if you do want to ski all the way down to town. So in all honesty, it's probably not worth it anymore, unfortunately. So it really didn't last very long this season. As for the Valley Blanche itself, you're best looking at it as basically a badly groomed piste. Not in terms of safety, it is still of course a high mountain itinerary on a glacier with all the expected hazards. But in terms of snow quality, it's basically like a poorly groomed piste now. Expect firm, chalky moguls, very choppy, very cut up. You're not going to find any powder up there anywhere, but it is still a nice journey. It is still worth doing for the sake of the journey in itself. For anybody interested in the conditions over in Rewired, from the resort upwards the snow is still really good. On the upper north facing slopes it's even still a little bit chalky in places. Everywhere else it is of course spring snow, it's getting slushy in the afternoon, but it's not getting too cut up from resort upwards. Resort downwards, so if you're skiing back down to Supermorzine or for the Pro Dan lift or whatever it's called, it gets very, very cut up later in the day. It is huge slush moguls, very heavy, very difficult to ski. It's not all that enjoyable, but like I say, from 1800 metres, so Rewired town upwards, the skiing is still absolutely excellent there. Looking forward to next week, as I've already said, it's largely more of the same. At the moment, weather forecast is suggesting there's a weak front that's going to come through on maybe Tuesday night or Wednesday. Might bring a little bit of light rain and drizzle, a few centimetres on the upper mountain, but that could all change between now and then. It's very much still we are very much still dominated by this high pressure. Any precipitation we do get is only going to be very light, so not going to make much of a difference really. But we will expect at the very least a little bit more cloud cover during the middle of the week, which might mean the snow doesn't soften up quite as much during the day, so conditions might actually be a little bit worse if it is cloudy. But yeah, we should very soon after that return to the sunny high pressure again. For anybody who is interested in my Megeve journey, yesterday was my first full day back on piste. Probably managed around about 6 hours of non-stop skiing, so that's obviously good news. I've not bothered trying to go off piste yet because it's really not worth it right now, so why risk it? Just choppy crud everywhere, but certainly on piste I'm pretty good to go now. I've passed 9,000 subscribers at some point in the last day or so that's great news. Let's try and keep this momentum going. Let's try and get to 10,000 before the end of the season. So if you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next week.